When your old career gives you lemons, throw in some ice, mix in some vodka, and call it a podcast. From the Mac of All Trades studio in Fairport and driven by Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, it's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
Well, hello and welcome, Milton.
Give me back my stapler.
It's like,
I want my stapler
what a
back.
name for a, right? And then I forgot, and I don't know if this is true or not, but Jameson and I were talking. He said, but storms all used to be named after women. I thought they rotated them. He goes, well, no, for a while there, they were just women. He said, according to one of my teachers. I said, yeah, that's probably true. I never really paid attention. He goes, but women were getting mad that they were these destructive forces. And I go, well, sometimes.
I don't remember.
The truth hurts.
I don't remember them being all women, but I know that they
rotate.
They pick
Yeah.
one. I think they named one for each letter of the alphabet. I think they might exclude a couple letters like X and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they put out a list every year of what they're going to call them. And
right.
each storm as it gets named,
But is there a
it has to become a certain. It has to hit a certain point before they name it.
Yeah. It looked like it because some people were going, it was nothing. I go, nothing. A category 3. I mean, there were 85-mile-an-hour winds in Orlando. That's unbelievable to me. As you saw a Tropicana field get ripped apart. What are you looking at?
Ooh, we got to get to storm number. We got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more storms.
Well, hopefully we don't. Well, so do they carry over to next year or each season?
I think it moves over.
Okay.
I don't think they carry over. I think
Okay.
they do a new list. But if we get 8 more,
Yeah, Danny.
Hurricane William,
Yeah, that's right. Hurricane William coming in, tearing it up.
I'll blow your house down.
Tearing it up. Well, I there was all kinds of stuff on there. And then I saw that officials were saying that electric cars are catching fire, the lithium batteries. They had 35 after Helene lithium battery fires. And I always go, okay, hold on. How many of those were electric cars? Because I bet not all 35.
Now, if you start an electric car, if you're we're flooded out here and you start an electric car, is that like dropping a toaster in the bathtub?
It's a great question that I don't know. I'm dead serious. I don't know because I'm driving the hybrid from Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. I plug it in here down on the thing, and it has rained the past couple nights, and I'm always like, what happens if I? But they're so I know, right? They're so
Jameson,
set
pull it
in.
out for me.
They're so set in that I go, it's nothing. It won't happen. But you're talking about flooding up through the hood of the car. So 11 of the 35 lithium fires in Helene, which was the last hurricane to go through, were electric cars.
Facts.
Yeah. And
Look it up.
but I think that part of it is, I might be wrong on this. There's got to be someone smarter than me. Let me put up the phone number so you can call. It's right on the screen if you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook.
While you're putting the thing up, I just looked. There's 6 alphabetical lists of names that are rotated every 6 years.
Okay.
So the names that were used in 24 will be used again in 2030.
Okay.
But I think I feel like if there's a hurricane, like if, Milton is a hurricane, then that name gets retired maybe.
Okay.
I don't know for sure though.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So then no more Miltons. Yeah, probably not because we couldn't have Milton the second.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. You know what I mean? You can't do that. But these electric cars, I think it's the salt water with the electric car, with the lithium battery that's causing these fires. And then I think that in your house, if there was salt water that got in, and I don't know what you would, anything could have a lithium battery. That's what's causing the fires. So they're trying to tell people if you have an EV,
and that's an electrical fire, so you can't put that out with water
you
either.
Got it. Exactly. Yes. So they're saying EV, if you had one of those, to bring it to higher ground. I don't know. That was
Where's the higher ground in Florida?
Great question. Great question. You know, like we had Dan's brother on last night in Tampa, and he said, he goes, I'm just lucky. I'm sort of at the top. He goes, you could call it like a hill, but it's graded.
It's like
it's
a
all
dune
graded.
or something like that.
Yeah, it's all graded down. So that way you don't have to worry about it. But there is a guy who I think is a bit of a hero. I wonder if more people will do this. I wonder if he has patented this idea and sold it. I'm not sure. But this dude right here, I'm going to pull him up on the screen. He is all right, yes, he's speaking Spanish, but the story.
So he's illegal.
The story will be no, he's not illegal. So the story will be
came over on the storm from Cuba.
Yes, the storm.
Pitching for the Yankees next week.
The storm will be. Let's see. I don't want to go that size. We'll try this right here. Okay, so we've got on the screen. You will see this news story, and you're gonna love this. Watch this guy strapped his house down.
I saw them doing this with some of the carts in Epcot and Disney, like the popcorn carts and stuff.
Yeah,
they ratchet strapped them down.
This is a ratchet strap across the house, and this guy.
That's a legit thing because I've seen that picture, and is it like a white ranch?
Yeah,
I thought it was a Photoshop thing.
No, this is the news.
Like the shark swimming through.
Yes,
all the different towns.
Yes, this is
legit.
This is legit from the news. Here we go.
Pedro Casares showing us his unconventional approach to keeping his Orlando home intact through Hurricane Milton.
Preparing my house for the hurricane. Right now, as you can see, the hooks on the floor, they're 8 feet deep of cement. They have rods in between, and it's to hold the friction of the roof from lifting.
It's in a way, it's a brilliant idea. And I go, I hope that this guy, and you'll find out why he's done this. He had to have an experience, right, with a hurricane somewhere. You'll find out why and where deeper in the story. But I'm like, I hope this dude patent this and sells the shit out of it as an idea, because build a company that comes in. I guarantee you,
the white man's going to steal this.
There is no, but I'm going the
Mac
average
of all trades will be doing it next week.
Okay, Mac of all trades can handle building this for you. The average white man, as you say, whatever down there, they're not digging 8 foot deep holes with a post digger, pouring cement, putting rebar in there.
They got augers now.
Okay, an auger, whatever.
It goes in there. That's how Bob did it.
They're still not doing it. Watch this.
His daughter explains the unique idea was born from experience more than 2 decades ago while Pedro and his family lived in Puerto Rico.
We had a hurricane that we went through, and the back of our roof lifted a little bit. It was aluminum.
Yeah.
Now, roughly $2,000 in for the cement, anchors, and made-to-order straps from Idaho.
Okay, so made-to-order straps. That's not a bad price. You start charging $5,000 to come in and do this for people. I think you're making a bit of a profit.
You're not getting that done for $5,000.
You don't think so?
You're into that for $5,000 in cement.
Well, he just said his cost him about $2,000 with the cement and everything. With the cement and everything.
Fronts, back, and sides of the home.
They hold about 5,400 pounds of weight and wind. So, yeah, we're giving it a test.
They're hoping it's enough to withstand Milton.
Definitely just stay tuned for the aftermath.
He's just screwed everybody, though. If it works.
Yes.
Insurance companies are going to be like, you have to have this now or we're not covering you.
This is what I'm saying. I had so many thoughts on this, Kevin. So many thoughts. James, he just came in and took a piece of pizza. Jameson, Kevin bought the pizza. But how about a thank you, Mr. Muir? Thank you, Mr. Muir. Yeah, okay. Sorry.
That's fine. I expected it.
I didn't. He pointed at it and I said no. So I said, just wait. Anyway, you're right. Because I had a lot of thoughts on this. I go, first of all, unique. People were laughing at him, right? There's no way. But he did a lot of work with this.
Hopefully, he's the only one laughing now. And I don't want this to come out the being mean, but I hope his entire freaking street is leveled. This is the only house that's standing. If they're laughing at him.
I don't know that was the case or not the case with this guy. I couldn't tell. I don't know if you can tell if it worked or not, because I believe he was in the Tampa. Certainly, so Florida's 140 miles wide. You couldn't be anywhere in that state from, I don't know, Jacksonville down pretty much and not be affected in some way. I think by rain at least.
I'd love to know when he actually did this. Like, was this done like 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago? Like, has he been sitting on this waiting? Like, baby, he's
Yeah,
like,
but
he's like Greg. He's like, it's game day, baby. Let's go. Put them some bitches straps on there. Let's go.
Yeah. So he did this, and then people were commenting, like you said, well, the insurance company is going to go crazy or make everybody get this. And I'm thinking, I just hope this guy, like
Profits
I
from
said,
it.
patented and profited, because even if you want, you're probably right. You could charge way more than $5,000. But let's say you did it for $5,000 because somebody else could come along and try to do it. And they, I mean, it was a great idea. I don't know. It looks ridiculous,
But hey, if it works,
but if it
If you're-
kept the house from lifting and it was all anchored in, what do I know?
the only thing he's missing is those things they had at the hospital, those big water shields. Did you see those outside of the Tampa Bay? They had like a 15-foot water wall
No.
that went up. It was like a L-shaped,
So
thing.
it just shot back out?
and it blocked water from coming in. It
Yeah.
was almost like a dam
Okay. Blocked it from coming in the
into the hospital.
hospital. But I didn't know if it also shot it out, like it's a hit.
No, it
up
just
high,
gets up to it.
Okay.
And it's 15 foot high. So unless you're going
Yeah.
more than 15 foot of surge,
Right.
you're good.
Wow. Yeah, a little ingenious there. They're getting smarter than the hurricanes down in Florida. It's one of the few
Speaking of
things they
smarter
can
than
do.
hurricanes, have we heard how Lieutenant Dan made? Did he make it?
Yeah, Lieutenant Dan made it fine. They
Nice.
showed his boat. Like, tell me the story. I don't know Lieutenant Dan. I don't know enough about Lieutenant Dan. He looks like a homeless. Is he homeless?
I don't know if he's homeless, but I know
He lives on a boat.
He's got one leg,
Yeah,
and he calls him Lieutenant Dan because he
he's got
looks
one
like
leg. Yeah,
Lieutenant Dan
and he
from-
does.
And
Right.
he's like, I'm not going anywhere. This is my boat. I'm
Yeah.
not going anywhere.
And he was on
And
the
he's gonna
boat.
he's gonna ride the storm out in the boat.
They
in the bay.
showed his boat getting tossed around. He was tied in docked, and I think he gave himself enough slack so he wasn't constantly slamming into the dock. I don't know how he did that. They said he came out unscathed.
He was drunk as a skunk.
I would have been throwing up the way that thing was getting
Oh, yeah.
tossed around. I would have been throwing up. And then, I don't know. Now, Jameson told me that there's a streamer who put out a challenge to anybody to survive the hurricane like outside and he would give them $75,000 if they did it with video proof. And some guy had set up a tent and was trying, and you see his tent like rolling down the
Did he
beach.
end up
and
in-
he's
did he end up in
chasing
Orlando?
after- He's chasing. I don't know. So when Jameson comes back in, we'll have to find out because he was very, very, very up on that stuff.
Yeah, some of the pictures were crazy, like the
Oh.
the Tropicana field where that's where they had
Yeah.
everything lined up for all the line workers
Yes,
coming down.
yes. That all got
And
ripped.
that's gone.
It is. I don't know how much that's going to be millions of dollars. And just to
Well, it was the covered almost like the Carrier Dome was. It's not. It's just like a bubble.
but I'm
So
saying
I'm
it has to be
thinking-
like $1 million to fix it.
I'm
don't you
sure
think?
it's-
Yeah.
Well, they're looking to get a new stadium anyways.
Oh,
Now
there
they
you
got
go.
Justification.
The I know that yesterday they were saying things like FEMA's out of money. FEMA's not out of money.
No.
Not for emergencies anyway. There may be some budgetary things within, but anybody who's run a company or something, there's budget lines. You're always adjusting. You're always changing things. One of the first things a lot of companies will do, like at the local level, go out. We got to adjust. First in, first out employees, and maybe our advertising or marketing or whatever. So that's not the case, and there's hundreds of millions of dollars going, and people trying to help.
People are getting helped.
They're not. It's just funny to see how this stuff goes.
The concert's coming. It'll be in November.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, there is already one for the Helene.
Well, I figured they're going to do a big one for kind of combo player. You get
They
Coldplay
should.
with their new album.
Yeah.
You get
Yeah.
all the Jelly Roll will be there.
They just had. I think it was Keith Urban and somebody else was doing the Helene one.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. That Jelly Rolls actually was going to plug the hole in the top of the Tropicana field, but then more got taken off. So
Look at you making a fat joke. How dare you? All right, we'll take a moment. The Buffalo Bills taking on the New York Jets. Lots of changes within the New York Jets organization.
Damn Jets.
Yes. Well, the Jets, Nathaniel Hackett, who at one point, was the offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills under Doug Marrone, sat with me. I called him Nate. He told me my father named me Nathaniel and told me I should. That was the name we gave you. Have people call you that, basically. So we were corrected. We called him Nathaniel. I thought I heard He's now going by Nat.
Well, he probably went on one of those ayahuasca retreats with Aaron, and now he's cool. He's probably got a
He's
probably
not,
got a beard, and he's probably got a ponytail in the back.
he's not cool because he is no longer calling
Demoted-ish.
calling the plays. So I don't know exactly what's happening with all that stuff, but we will get into that. Now, Greg Connors will be joining us, I think, on the computer. I think you'll be able to see Greg. And then he's got a buddy, Dave Scaramucci, who's going to be joining us, who's a Jets fan. And I called Dave earlier and I go, "Hey, Mooch." And he's like, "Yeah." And I said, what the hell is that? I go, "When are you coming on?" And he gave me his email. And of course, I left it at home. So I don't know that he'll be on screen, but he said he may be driving anyway. So we will. But the Mooch has been a fan of the New York Jets for damn near 50 years. And he is very unhappy with the Jets' performance, but he's going to try to muster up some nice things to say about the Jets. So we'll see.
We'll talk some Rangers too. I heard he's a Rangers.
He is a Rangers guy. So we'll get to all that right after this.
lost my voice at the Met game last.
Todo lo malo echado para allá. Oh my God, dame salud y
The guy with the house?
No, it's not the guy with the house. Carlos Iglesias, they play this at, I believe, at Mets games. I should ask.
No, it's Steve Trumpet they play.
Yeah, but I thought this was also associated with Mets and some of the players on the Mets, which last night, and I know Dave Scaramucci, who's on, he's a friend of Greg Connors, and he's on the line. He's also a longtime Jets fan, but he was at the Mets game last night, saw the Mets close out, I think for the first time at Citi Field, close out a run to get to the National League Championship Series. And this may be the first time since 86 that they went almost 40 years they haven't been to the World Series.
They were in the World Series a few years ago against the Yankees.
Oh, yeah,
the
that's
Subway
right. They
Series.
were. That's right.
Stupid.
That's right. I forgot. But this
No,
feels...
they were in the World Series 2015.
That's what it was.
2015,
Well,
they
God,
played the Royals.
The 80s.
Oh, that's right. They played the Royals since too.
The 86 was more magic. That was the one where they won. They had the ticker tape. There was the, the whole thing. But I got to think this.
That's what gives us Bills fans hope, man. The 86 Mets. Are you kidding me?
So, Dave, what was the atmosphere like at that game last night? That had to be nuts.
So it was unbelievable. But I'm a big Met Jet fan, so I go 20, 30, 40 years before I see anything close to a championship. So that's always very tough on a fan.
Yeah.
And I've been watching Met games for 50 years. And it's always kind of gloom and doom what's going to go wrong this time. But let me tell you guys something. This year it's changed. Now you watch a Met game and you say to yourself, they're going to pull it out. I'm not sure how they're going to pull it out, but I have some confidence. So I had a buddy who was in Chicago, and it was 1-0. And if you know in that game, the Mets left the bases loaded twice in the first and second inning, one time with no out. They didn't score a run. Now, the old Mets fan would say, that's it, gloom and doom, we're not going to score. Those were our chances. We're not going to win the game. My buddy, who's a longtime Met fan, said it's 1-0. They really squandered some runs. I said, stay calm. It's a different Mets, and they will figure out a way to win this game and we score some runs. So I was not nervous, even leaving 10 guys on base in the first 4 innings. They left 10 guys on base in 4 innings.
Yeah, and I just think Philly's such a tough team. I thought the Phillies were doing pretty well throughout the season, so I thought for sure.
I love when Philly loses.
Yeah, well, they're already having meltdowns in Philly. The New York Post
Fuck
had,
the Eagles,
I don't know
fuck
whether or
the
not
Flyers,
it's true.
fuck the 76ers, fuck the Flyers again.
I don't know if it's true or not, but the New York Post had an article, a headline saying the meltdown in Philadelphia has already begun.
They already put the Spirit Halloween sign up on the stadium.
Unbelievable. Fans get crazy. But Philly is basically a 500 team after the All-Star break.
Oh, were they? Okay. I remember
Even though
seeing
they had a great first half.
Yeah, they did.
They should have brought Grimace in.
And the Mets, since June 1st, were like 62-38. So they were like the best team in the league. And that's for the last 100 games, they've been the best team in the league. It's unbelievable.
What is the difference in your mind? What's turned it around for them? New owner?
Grimace.
The new owner has made things better. This was not supposed to be their year.
Right.
They got Stearns, David Stearns, one of the brightest minds in baseball, and he was very almost Milwaukee-like. He used to run the Brewers, and how he picked up some great contracts, 1-year deals, 2-year deals, with some guys that were maybe a little washed up, not so good. Sean Manaea, Severino, and these guys have had great years.
Oh.
And the pitching, the starting pitching has been much better than expected, and I think that's why they're doing great. and they have a different guy coming through in the clutch at all times.
Who would you rather see them face, the Padres or the Dodgers?
I think both will be tough.
Yeah.
It just feels like the Padres are a little hotter with a tougher lineup. Of course, all the pressure is on the Dodgers with the huge payroll and Ohtani and, the great lineup they have. So I think both will be difficult. But as a Mets fan, I'm sitting here saying they could beat anybody. They could beat anybody.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to matter.
I think baseball would prefer the Dodgers because when you got New York.
Ohtani.
You're going to have New York in both,
Yeah.
potentially in both series.
Yeah.
Plus LA. And then you're going to get either Detroit or
definitely.
Cleveland thrown in, which are two, teams that people just like because they hate the fucking Yankees.
Yes, they do hate the
Right.
Yankees. So does Dave. Dave hates the Yankees as well. But yes, go ahead, Dave. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to just say, I know you guys want to talk a little Jets and
Yeah.
Bills, and I would say here's the biggest difference. When the Jets got Aaron Rodgers last year, I was the most excited I'd been as a Jet fan in a long time. I went to opening night, that Monday night game against the Bills. I sat down. The traffic was crazy. I missed the national anthem. I sat down, and Rodgers got hurt on the fourth play. I was 30-yard line, 25 rows back, and the people around me, everybody got quiet. And I took, a girlfriend at the time, and she didn't know much about it. The season's over. I said, we should leave. And she goes, what are you talking about? We just got here. It ended up, and you guys know, it ended up being a great game.
Yeah.
But I knew that the season was over for the Jets. I knew it was over.
Yeah. Well,
my point being is I was so excited last year. Now this year, they go into the season with a healthy Rodgers, a better roster, a better offensive line, and I'm not as excited. I said something is going to go wrong. Something is not going to work well. Rodgers has got too much control. He's a lot older, coming off an injury. And I wasn't as excited, even though the hopes should have been higher. They should have been higher. But as a beaten-up Jet fan, I was not as excited.
Well, Greg, I'll ask you. The Jets secondary held Sam Darnold, who used to be a Jets quarterback, but has been having a pretty good season. He's on an undefeated team. They did eke out the win over in England over the Jets, but they held him to under 180 yards. And the defense held the Vikings. I think their rushing was only 2.7 yards per carry. So that's
the only reason why the Vikings won that game was because Aaron Rodgers was horrible, absolutely horrible.
Yeah, he had 54 pass attempts, and he was blitz a lot, and he threw a pick six.
He had a pick six.
Yeah,
he had a pick six. He had 3 interceptions. Yeah, it was a pick. And he didn't seem as accurate. His whole thing has been accuracy and not throwing interceptions. And he missed some wide open guys, maybe because his knee or his ankle hurts, it affects his throwing accuracy. I don't know, but he was definitely off.
So,
the Jets defense is all about that front line. Their defensive front is some of the best in the NFL, and they have shut down good offenses. And when you got a good up front defensive set, your secondary plays well, and that's the key to the Jets right now. Sauce Gardner is one of the most talented corners of probably in the history of the NFL. Once his career will be over. But when you got a talented front like that, you play that much better, and that's probably the biggest concern I have as a Bills fan. Is that Jets front four.
Okay, so what's changed about that line? Last year was phenomenal. What has changed? Okay, they lost Bryce Huff, undrafted free agent, 10, 11 sacks last year. The Eagles paid up big for him. So Huff left. Franklin Myers, not as many sacks, very tough up front, good against the run and the pass. Now Jermaine Johnson has an Achilles injury. He's out for the season. The Jet front defensive line is not as good as it was last year with those 3 big losses, plus Reddick sitting out. But Salah, that's the key to his defense. That's what he built in San Fran, and that's what he built with the Jets. He has 8 starters that could play defensive line. He rotates them in nonstop. You got 8 guys could do the job. I think the Jets only have 4 or 5 guys now, and they're not as good as they were.
Do you worry in any way that without Salah on the sidelines, does that in some way, maybe not for this game? I am worried, Greg. I don't know about you, but that they play almost up or angry or whatever, because Saleh, from everything I've read, seemed to be really respected and liked by the players. And who knows as to what the real reason as to why he was fired was, but it seems to be a Nathaniel Hackett, Aaron Rodgers, to your point, Dave, that Aaron had some power there. But do you think, do we worry about that? And without Saleh there, does the defense not play as well as the season progresses? Maybe take this game out of it, but as the season progresses.
And this, the bounce, right? You get the new coach bounce.
I worry about that.
Bounce, I think about, even too, but even more so now, because the rumor was that I've heard through some of my connections is that Saleh wanted to strip Hackett of the play calling.
Yeah.
Give it to the quarter, give it to Downing.
Right.
And Rodgers didn't like it and went to Woody Johnson. Woody Johnson essentially gave Saleh an ultimatum, and he told Saleh, said, look, the best way for this team to move forward is that somebody else calling the plays. They haven't performed on offense. Woody Johnson fires Saleh. He hires his defensive coordinator. The defensive coordinator takes the job. What I understood what happened today was he goes into Woody Johnson and says, I don't want he should couldn't be playing the cross. I want to move it to Downing. Woody Johnson, what's he going to do, fire him now?
Yeah.
So you get that loyalty from your defensive coordinator, the guy that team loves, and now they're going to go out and they're going to be fired up even more because of the loyalty he showed to Saleh to fulfill what Saleh wanted to do, and then they're going to try to prove that they don't, Aaron Rodgers and well, they need him there, but Hackett's a piece of junk. And they're going to prove he's a piece of junk, and then they're going to go out and they're going to win. That's the bounce you're going to get. That stadium, I'm going to be there. Now, Mooch is going to be at the Mets game, but I'm going to be at the Bills-Jets game, and that stadium, I have a feeling, is going to blow. If they had a roof on it, it'd blow it off.
Yeah, I am concerned about this, Greg. I really do think that all those things, and I know as professional athletes, we like to think emotions don't really play. Every game's the same. You're human.
How does Hackett not quit? Like you got two guys that think you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And you're still going to be there.
Because it's called contract. It's called money, Kevin. That's the money right there.
And Rodgers wants him there. That's the main reason why he's there. But I want to ask you guys a question.
Yeah.
You guys are both Bills fans. Is that correct? You're both Bills fans?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, I am, and Greg is. Kevin is a Patriots fan, but yes, Dave.
So let me ask you this. Forget about who's calling the plays and what's going on with Rodgers. If the Bills were sound and you guys were very confident and they had like the Bills team from a year or two ago, and I don't know what's going on with the wide receivers. Josh Allen is a stud, a top 5 quarterback in the league, but something's missing with the Bills like it is almost every year, right? Something's missing. When they play the elite teams, there's a problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
They can beat up almost anybody. But if it's KC, Baltimore, now maybe Houston, I don't know who else in the AFC, but if they're playing the elite teams, there is a problem. So, I'm not saying the Jets are an elite team. They got to prove it, and maybe they'll catch a bounce and be emotionally up for the game. Everybody's kind of on the hot seat. They like Albrecht, and they're going to give it their best, and they could win the game. They play the Bills tough. They always do. But, if you guys were really confident in Buffalo, it wouldn't matter who's calling the plays. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yes. But unfortunately, having watched them play last week against the Texans and the week before that against the Ravens, and the offense went from being on all cylinders, generating, clicking, run game was well, even the pass game was well, even with the limited talent that we have. These last 2 weeks, Josh was at 9 of 25 for 124 yards or something.
Yeah.
That offense just is not working. And I think it's because I think when you start to get against some talent like the ones in the front, they can't adjust. And Josh's talent, they just can't get separation off the line. And that's what the defenses are doing. They're playing 15 and tight on these guys. And the Jets have the speed. They have the talent with the defensive line front, even though Mooch pointed out, the defense probably isn't as deep as they had been last year, but they still got some of that talent. And you're going to play the defense, the corners and the secondary tight, and that's where the Bills are going to struggle. And Mooch, that's where, as a Bills fan, we just haven't had that. I loved how you described the feeling you had about the Mets, where you knew that you were going to figure a way. I had that feeling about the Bills about 2 years ago until they had 13 seconds left in the game. Even that game, I thought they were going to figure a way to win. and we figured a way to lose.
Oh,
So
Right.
I just don't have that feeling right now with this team, at least yet. Hopefully it'll change for us. But I'll tell you one thing: for me, this game on Monday night, this is a defining moment in this Bills season and potentially McDermott's coaching tenure.
okay.
Right. No, I think he's on the hot seat a little too. I think he is. I don't know as much as you guys, but he's got to be.
Yeah.
But Woody Johnson is an emotional owner, and listens to the fans and the media too much, and he's got his hands in there, and that's why no matter who is coached, who the players are the last 20 years, or at least since 2010, you change the players' names, you change the coaches' names, and you get the same jet result. And that's why you, as a fan, you suffer, because you expect with the changes, things will be better, and it's the same nonsense. So it's very tough. Now, this is a big game. It's a big game for the Jets. It's for first place.
Yeah.
And I think this could spiral out of control if they don't show up and, hopefully win the game, or at least have it close. The Jets have been embarrassed in prime time at different points, especially by Belichick. Belichick has
he can
Yeah, there you go, Mooch.
They've got a chance to be the to pull the great move and bring him in next year.
No, I don't want him. I do not want him. 73.
Mooch and I agree on that.
If you were 73 with a 24-year-old girlfriend, would you want to coach the Jets?
Yes, I would.
I'd want it with my dad.
I'd want that. I'd want that. Greg, how concerned are you about Josh Allen's overall health? It certainly looked like he was knocked out on the field briefly.
Oh no, he was cleared to go right back in.
But I mean, two hits, 2 weeks, 2 big hits.
Yeah,
that looked like a concussion, man. That looked like
I have concerns. For me, it's too reminiscent of what happened with Tua 2 years ago against the Bills. And if everybody remembers, my recollection of what happened was that very next week, Tua got knocked out again.
Yes,
and then was out I think for 8 weeks after that. And so, you have Josh coming in. Josh is a great person. He's a great kid. He's a great leader. I just hope that you got to make the decision what's right for the individual, because in the end, that's what will pay off for the organization. And one game can ruin this kid's career. This game is not going to win the Bills a championship, but it could lose them a lot of games in the future. So I just trust and hope that the Bills staff is doing the right thing and going through and using the right steps, which I trust McDermott to have that type of character and integrity. But I'll tell you, Josh's health will have an influence over this game. And if Josh is healthy and steps up, it'll be close. If not, there could be a long drive home or a long flight home for me on Monday night or Tuesday morning.
I hear you, Greg. And the concussion thing is obviously a cumulative effect.
Yes.
You get one, you only have a week off, only a week to recover, and it's clear that a week or two is not enough for a concussion.
Yeah.
It's a cumulative thing. I don't know how it works medically, but it seems like once you get a couple, you get them very, very easily. Yeah. And he could actually have a problem, and that would be terrible for the Bills and for him. So I do believe McDermott has a lot of integrity and would be more concerned about that than trying to win this game in the fourth quarter if Allen is woozy or something like that.
Right, I hear you. Yeah, if he shows signs.
I have a question for Greg. Greg, they had that story yesterday about the hate symbol. Was that Matar putting stickers on your seats in the new stadium?
Yeah, that son of a gun, man. He's always coming after me.
What was that? What happened? What are you guys talking about?
There were hate signs. Yeah, go ahead, Greg. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Bill.
I was just gonna say there were hate signs they found, or hate symbols, on the new stadium construction. So they shut it down and did an investigation. But we were all wondering, was it Chiefs stickers? Was it we didn't know. What was the hate symbol? And so Kevin just said a competing lawyer to Greg.
Yeah, one of my competition out there, Mooch. So I don't know. I did not hear what the hate symbol was, but I'll be seeing those guys tomorrow. So I'll see what scoop I can get.
And I got one last question for our friend Mooch too.
What do you got for Mooch?
Mooch, is our guy Shesterkin going to get paid? They going to let him walk, or are they going to pay him?
No, they're going to pay him. They got to pay him. What did they offer him? $88 million for 8 years, right?
And he said no. He wants more than Panarin. He wants 12.
They want $12 million a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Win it and give him 11.5.
Dolan's making money with the Rangers and Knicks. I don't think he's going to let Shesterkin, walk. He's probably top 4 goalie in the league.
Absolutely.
I don't think that won't. I think they'll pay.
I wish Dolan would walk.
Have you ever heard Dolan's band, JD and the Straight Shot, Mooch? Did you ever listen to that?
What's that? Say that again.
Did you ever listen to to Dolan's band? He has a band called JD
Yeah, I know it.
and the Straight Shot. He came up once and we interviewed him on the radio, and he didn't want to talk about the Knicks or anything, so he really had to work hard to get those questions in.
You think his band's played the Sphere?
No. Well, if he paid,
he owns the
off,
place.
Yeah, I know. That's true.
They probably opened for fish.
It's amazing. It's amazing when you have a good owner, how the franchise becomes a well-managed, great franchise, and when you have a difficult owner, it does not. Think about the Steelers. Think about what the Steelers do.
Yeah.
It's a well-run franchise.
Yeah.
And the Giants had that reputation, even though the team has struggled a lot lately. But there's a few franchises out there that are just well-run. You don't even know what the owner's name is. You don't know his name. But the franchise is just well-run.
Right. Mooch, it was nice meeting you. It was a pleasure. I hope that you enjoyed the Mets game on Monday night. I do have a question.
Monday.
What is that?
So they're playing Sunday, Monday, National League Championship Series starts Sunday night, Monday.
Monday. So it could be Ohtani in town, potentially.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun. But my question is, you mentioned bringing a girlfriend to the Jets game last year. Clearly, she's bad luck. So I'm assuming she's not with you.
No, she's not in the car right now, but she is good luck, man. We won the game. I brought it to the Met game. We won the Met game. She's more than good luck, guys.
All right, good. I'm glad. I wasn't sure because I think you said former girlfriend. I couldn't tell. There was some past tense to girlfriend, so I thought.
No.
Well, I'm curious to see if the Bills win this week because Greg's there. Greg hasn't been to the last 2 games.
Greg, ask Ralph. Ralph's met her. She's good luck.
All right. Well, very good.
Legit.
Well, very good. Enjoy the Mets games, and I hope the Jets lose. I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say go Mets, but go Bills.
That's it.
Go Jets. Go Jets. Go Mets.
I'm picking the Jets for you this week, Craig.
Buddy, good luck, man. Nice talking to you guys.
Nice talking to you as well. See you later.
All right.
Goodbye.
Yeah, I think I'm 0 for the season picking the Bills games. Whoever I picked, they've lost.
I was going to ask Greg. He just hung up there. I thought he was going to hang up for a second. I was going to ask him about his wine event. He said a wine event.
Is there a Muffy there?
Oh, it's so fancy. He's so fancy. He tries to play like he's he's very fancy.
What are the odds that there's a guy with a captain's hat on? Like a ship captain's hat?
It depends on where it is.
Does it?
If
it's it's on the east side. We'll just leave it there.
Well, yeah, it's on the east side, but I would think that captain's hat's a little out there. Although I will say somebody to be funny and what may do it, but it would be east side, isn't it? Yeah. Who owns one? If you own it, you're wearing it.
I bet you Billy Dolan would do it to be funny.
Billy would actually,
but I bet you there's people that are doing it not to be funny. They're doing it just because it's a fashion statement for them.
If you own it, I guess you're watching it. All right, well, we'll take a moment. Conspiracy theories. They used to just be about things like aliens. Now they're about everything, right? We get deeper and deeper. Although Dan did bring up some guy who believes in lizard people or whatever yesterday. So, but aliens have become somewhat, I don't want to say legitimate because that doesn't seem like the right thing to say, but
accepted.
Yes, because the government is saying, right, that we have had encounters with what we're calling unidentified flying objects. Could they be aliens? I don't know that we could actually confirm one way or the other. However, there is a news story. This is legit. I've been trying to get it so it would play on the screen, but I'm not sure I can do that. We will play it for you, though, so you'll hear it about people in Vegas who believe they had an encounter with aliens. And it includes police body cam footage.
Well, Area 51's right there,
I know. We'll get to all that
allegedly.
right after this.
Aliens crash down from the sky. Bright lights 10 feet tall in Vegas. On the strip, neon glowing high. Awestruck crowds, their minds in chaos.
Danny and the Healthy Fats. It was a song about aliens in Vegas.
Silver suits, reflections blind.
Facts.
Huh? Facts. Yes, it is. It's facts. They didn't even give us this version, too. Danny and the Healthy Fats.
This side project Facts. Look it up.
It's offshoot, man. It's facts. Yeah.
This was the end of Bill and Ted, too.
Yeah.
Bright lights 10
Sounds like Cinderella.
Yeah.
Vegas. On the strip, neon glowing high.
I had Danny cut a couple different songs for us. He actually did one for Laura, but I was going to debut when Laura's back. Would you like to hear a little of Laura's?
Nah, let's
You want to wait? Yeah, it's a good one about Laura. But anyway, aliens did land. Look, it used to be you would go in the grocery store and you would see on the Enquirer, which, by the way, I have to say, broke some legitimate hard news. Some of it salacious, but it was news.
Might be the most truthful news out there.
Well, it at the time, I don't know what the Enquirer is doing anymore. I don't see it, but at the time, like, I think it was Gary Hart had an affair. He was the guy. He was fast tracked. He was probably going to be president of the United States. They uncovered this affair, and there you go.
They have that, but then they have, Elvis is.
Well, that's what I'm
Elvis
saying.
is eating
Or
churros.
there's an Elvis
is eating churros with a centaur.
an alien baby or something, right? We have an alien baby. So all these things are. It's interesting. I don't know why they would go from one extreme to the other, but now the conspiracy. Basically, like Dan and I were talking last night, I think there's so much information that sometimes you don't know what to trust, right? But I always go back to this. I like to believe, and people are going to feel free. You can join the chat as we're on YouTube and Facebook right now. Feel free to jump on there. You can also call 585-206-8866. You can call or text that line anytime and say your piece. But my thinking on this is I always go back to food, right? And one of the problems that a lot of times where people are pointing out conspiracy when it's not aliens and it has something that's more impactful is there are lobbyists that are trying to get things in. And the greatest to me was always like food. Food is a great example of lobbyists hammering the shit out of things because I remember my father would get up and make me eggs every morning before I went to school. And I remember some relative telling us that, well, eggs are bad. You shouldn't eat that many eggs. Right. Your kids shouldn't eat. And I think today, eggs are good.
Now eggs are protein.
Right. Eggs are protein and eggs are good.
They were fat back in the day.
Well, right. And we replaced it with Captain Crunch, which I don't know that that's much better. So my only point is those seem to be directed by lobbyists. So are you getting good information or bad information? I'd like to think that they're giving you the best information at hand at the time, but I'm not always sure. So
here's the thing. At the end of the day, believe what you believe.
Yes.
Keep your damn mouth shut.
Yes.
And just live your life. That's how I believe what I believe. At the end of the day, it's not the whole grand scope of everything. It's not going to affect my end of day.
You are speaking my language so much so.
You could go all the way back to that. Every president I've ever had. Jimmy Carter's going to change this guy's going to take your gun. Nobody's going to do anything. At the end of the day,
you're speaking my language.
Be informed, but just your life's not going to change.
Well, I always think this.
Unless you're a billionaire, your life may not change.
You start going down, and I'm not saying that the people who do this are that some of it. I think they like it. They like doing it a little bit. They like it. But I would go down a conspiracy type hole of something that, let's say, like in some way you're getting shorted, or they're trying to get you, or they're trying to. You could make yourself so paranoid, so crazy,
absolutely,
and it can ruin your day. And when you actually think about all you have is right now. There are people that believe there is no such thing as time. Everything has already happened, and it's happening right now. And as we believe we get older, we're just looking at now from a different perspective. So the memory that that something that happened 30 years ago actually happened now. Like it's just fucked up thing.
Conspiracy theorists to me are the same as carnies.
In a way,
They're there to trick you out of your money.
But sometimes what we say is conspiracy turns out to be somewhat factual. And I'll go with the aliens in that the government did have classified documentation of reported things, encounters with people who were employed by the government, those in the military and things. So again, on that end, I don't know, but the conspiracy stuff that'll take you to where they're screwing you I think drives you nuts. And sometimes you're just better off going, how is that impacting my right now?
I just wish
it's not.
Don't
raise your blood pressure. Don't kill yourself.
Listening to him last night.
I know.
It was, I just wish I had that kind of time.
Yeah. Well, and he says, I don't have kids.
Right.
He'll say that.
Maybe he needs to get a kid. Go. Have Jameis get on the dark web and get him a kid.
No. Oh, on the dark web and get him a kid, I guess. All right. So there is a story that is out from Vegas, and I was trying to get the video to play on our screen, and it just wasn't happening. So I will play this video for you, and you decide how you feel about it. But it is a real story. I think it came out. I got to think that this is a year ago in Vegas, and they claim to have seen aliens. But the interesting part in this is that there's a police officer with body cam footage. Yeah, listen, here we go. We'll pause as we go.
It is the police call everybody will be talking about. Thanks for joining us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Denise Valdez.
I'm Brian Loftus. A family says something crashed into their backyard, prompting them to call 911, saying they saw creatures walking around.
Our 8 News Now investigators digging into this for weeks now. And tonight, our David Charnes with the video you will only see on 8 News Now. David?
Right, Denise, sources telling 8 News Now investigators that
because we created it in the sound studio next to where they walked on the moon.
Very well could have. I don't know.
Whether it was non-humans or not, it certainly scared the people living on this property. Now, before we show you that video, listen to their call for help.
There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us.
I'm not gonna lie. I had this same phone call the other night. It wasn't to the cops, but it was to Purse Pisser, and I did it after my visit to MJ.
I saw an 8-foot. There's an 8-foot guy with eyes the size of saucers, and he's.
It was Bob taking a piss behind my shed, but
now here's the thing. I wish right now that a friend of the podcast, Chief Matt Barnes from Fairport Police Department, could come in and tell me if you got this call, what would you say to somebody? Put down the pipe.
Let's call
him. I could. Hang on.
Still there.
Okay, where is
your
property?
In my backyard. I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually we terrified of it.
So there's 2 people or 2 subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're like 8 foot, 9 feet, 10 foot. I don't know. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes. They have big eyes, like I can't explain it, and big mouth. They're shiny eyes, and they're not human. They're 100%. They're not human.
100%.
Well, this is the thing. Like, you have to think, if you're the dispatcher, if you're the 911 operator, you're not allowed to laugh at these people.
That's why I could never work at 911.
That's what I'm saying.
I would laugh my ass off.
Can't. I mean, we've heard 911 operators give back a snarky sort of playful answer, and they've been reprimanded. And that tape goes fucking where.
The thing that sucks about that is all the bullshit they hear.
I know.
All the just nasty shit they hear.
Yes.
You hear this, you should be able to chuckle a little.
I know, because I always think like I hope tax dollars pay, because we need 911 operators. I think that's something we absolutely need.
They can't hire them either. Nobody wants to do it.
Of course not.
They just and it's a state job. It's a well-paid job.
Yeah.
But I think there's also, like cops, I think there's mandatory therapy.
I was going to say, I hope so. I hope there is.
It's just the things they hear.
I cannot imagine. You're hearing people, most people, you don't call 911 for, you're not calling, go, hey, what's the weather today? I was thinking of taking a walk.
No, because the cops will end up at your house. And they'll arrest you for sticking around with 911.
Here we go.
Well, the 8 News Now investigators obtaining video as officers then responded to the call you just heard. You'll see the officers also saw something in the sky that night, but the big question is, what was it? And is it all
We'll see the officers come and go, what the fuck are you guys smoking?
This is Vegas, right?
Yeah.
It's almost midnight on May 1st when a Las Vegas Metro Police officer's body cam catches this, something flashing low in the sky.
911 emergency.
Minutes later,
There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and it's looking at us, and it's still there.
someone calls 911 reporting 2 large figures in their backyard.
So these guys are lucky because on the cam footage, there's something that is going down that's of a greenish blue shooting out of the sky towards the ground. And then right after that, this guy calls and goes, we got 8-foot people in our backyard.
It's Mike Tyson's Tigers. You walk in there and it's Mike Tyson's Tigers.
Fucking weird. It would be some like Vegas show, right? Yeah.
I'm so nervous right now.
The 8 News Now investigators obtaining another officer's video as he's sent to the Northwest Valley home.
I have butterflies, bro. Everyone thought
This is the cop.
Then these people say there's aliens in their backyard.
By now,
See, the
it's
cops
more
can
than
dick
an
around
hour
and
after
laugh,
that
but
white
911
light.
can't.
Officers meeting
Well,
up
because
with the
they're
caller and
here's
his
why
family.
they're laughing with each other, the cops. This is laughing at the potential victim.
All right.
That I think that's the difference with 911. I don't know. Somebody's trying to be someone I know just took the test to be a dispatcher. His name would be Jackson Moran.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yep. Down in New York.
That's
What'd you see?
I know.
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard, or
They see like a big, that's what they say. They see like a big something with light.
What I saw right now, I do believe in it.
Police walk into the backyard to investigate, but Metro blacked out that part of the video because it's considered private property. What's clear? They're taking this call seriously.
hey, this might sound like a really dumb question, but did you guys see anything fall out of the sky?
I say this is
Asking others. what
just people
they saw.
driving down the street. The cop
I mean,
is.
This count as nothing. However, seeing as one of my partners said they saw it too, only reason I'm actually investigating it further.
That investigation turning up no concrete answers as of Wednesday. Whatever or whoever fell into that yard, long gone within minutes.
Oh, hey, if those 9-foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
So yeah,
See,
this is quite weird. Brian was saying as we're watching this story. Now we've been in contact with the family in that video, and as you heard in that 911 call, they seem very reasonable and honestly quite scared as you heard them in the call. No, they don't seem impaired in any way.
Yeah,
And
impaired.
whatever crashed by the time that police got there was gone. But sources say that there's really no dispute. Something was in their yard. Exactly what? We do not know.
I mean, it's so interesting. So, like, the Metro officer sees something, the neighbor sees something. I mean, so what could it be?
Well, we know that there are obviously a lot of military bases.
All right. So they go on and on about that.
But if something fell out of the sky, wouldn't you theoretically think there would be some sort of a
hole or something, right?
Or did they fall off the mothership and just
I don't
fall?
know. So
But they're that agile they can fall from the sky and land on their feet.
I don't know. These guys just said we saw something in our backyard and it wasn't human. But not that something landed, just the creatures.
Yeah, but it's not human. That could be anything from animal to
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely right. It could be a
tripping balls.
chupacabra. I don't know. It's weird, but there are
Sasquatch. Did they call Sasquatch? Or maybe they call it.
I am going to be talking to a guy in Vermont about
Squatcher.
About Sasquatch. Yes. I think we're going to try to set something up for next week sometime that he will come on the podcast. He owns a record store in Rochester, New Hampshire, and has seen or has heard what he believes to be Bigfoot. So I don't know how
Might just be a John Hyatt record playing in the background.
Oh, you know what? He's a record store owner. I hope you're here that night, you fucker.
I just bought a Stones record at a.
What'd you buy?
I don't remember.
Let It Bleed?
No, I think it was the
Country
greatest
Road?
hits.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like Hot Rocks type thing.
No, it wasn't Hot Rocks. I don't remember what I bought. I bought a bunch of different records.
So but here's an interesting thing, and this will people will go crazy over this. I am starting to think that I always thought, well, would it be selfish of us to think we're the only creatures in the galaxy, right? And the galaxy is infinite. It's so big, we can't even think about it, right, in our head. Are there other universes where there's lifelike planets, and could there be some kind of communication from there? There are people that believe very much so, and people who will tell you, although I have done no research on this, but I intend to now, especially that scientists have proven there was not evolution, but that we came from the stars, that human beings are a product of the stars, and that it's a long, I don't know.
Two stars got
I
together.
don't know.
One star really liked another star, and
right. And then
boom, shooting star.
There are people that will tell you there's a guy out there. You can look this guy up. I don't know. Some of the words he says may have value to you. I'm not sure. Bashar, he is a human who can channel an alien from another being that speaks to you from the future and tells you basically how to live and what life is all about and our planet and things like that as they see it. And
is this the guy we talked about a while ago?
I don't know.
Wasn't there a guy that had, maybe it was Timeline or something? It was a timeline that.
Yeah. There is Timeline. There's a lot of weird stuff. Like, I want to start doing maybe like weird, once in a while, weird shows, because I'm trying to get somebody on who believes that you can time travel. And now there are many people, and you'll look on the internet and you'll see a picture from the 1940s, and they're going, why is that kid carrying an iPad? Now, is it an iPad? Hard to tell in the picture, but it sure looks like a thin book. Could it be photoshopped? We certainly could do that these days. But then there were pictures that pop up on the internet and they go, it's from like the 1980s, and somebody's got a cell phone, what looks like an iPhone, in their hand. It's a hell of a Photoshop job, but I'm not that good at it, so I'm sure you could do that. I don't know.
I'll swing over to the dollar store before we come in and get you some aluminum foil.
Well, see, I know.
The Reynolds wraps.
I know. And I'm not saying that these things, but it's weird. I like that kind of stuff. I like thinking that those things are out there. But Bashar is supposed to be another being that this guy channels. And there are other people that believe in channeling angels and different things and all that. I'm just telling you that that's out there. And there are scientists who do believe that we were a byproduct of the stars in space.
For sure. I think I remember him playing left wing for the Maple Leafs back in the 70s.
I thought he was a left fielder for the Mets.
Might have been. But he's like he was the first Dion.
Now up Bashar.
He was the first Dion. Hockey and baseball.
I don't know. I'm just telling you that's what the that's what the people are saying. But this is weird, right? And that the cops didn't laugh in their face, didn't dismiss I mean, you know what? I'll tell you this too. And I would say that. You want me to call Hurley?
Hurley or Barnes, either or.
I'll try Barnes because sometimes he'll answer. And I know Hurley's probably got his kids and stuff. But I would think that a call like that may almost be a relief for some of the calls.
It's not a domestic for once.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not, I don't have to worry going in there. There's not a shooting. I'm not saying that I'm not going in with my eyes open. I'm going with my eyes open, but
I don't know. If that dispatch came from me, I think I might be more concerned going into that situation.
Let's see. Oh, wait. What are we doing? Okay. Let's see if Chief Matt Barnes answers his it's taking an awful long time. Oh, I'm on the wrong.
Yeah, the wrong part of
yeah,
that.
there it is. Hello, Chief. Oh,
hey.
Whew. So nervous there. They're going to go. By the way, check out Copcast, which is a Fairport Police podcast that we produce monthly here. And they're going to
I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can.
What?
Thank you much.
Oh, come on, Barnes. We had a silly question for you on the podcast.
Give Hurley a shot.
All right.
Cop roulette. If he doesn't answer, we're calling Baxter. We're playing cop roulette in the phones tonight.
I'm not calling Baxter.
Oh, Baxter will answer.
No, I know, but I'm afraid. I don't want to say to him, hey, I got this stupid question. What if you got a call about a 10-foot?
He would probably laugh. He's probably having a whiskey. I bet you call Baxter first.
No, I'm not. Yes.
I'll call Baxter.
Uh,
Bill's got a stupid question for you.
yeah, thanks. Because that's what I need.
Just call him.
Hang on. Why is this not coming up the right way? Pardon me. Here we go. See if Deputy Hurley answers on the podcast.
He's probably going, oh, shit. These assholes again.
Hello.
We're calling you on the podcast, Deputy Hurley. Unprepared you are for this call. I apologize.
Did you look at the caller ID and say, oh, shit, these two jerks again?
No.
That means yes.
That one, he's like, no, not two, just one.
All right. So we've been talking about there's been a lot of conspiracy theories, and I'm saying that the conspiracy theories used to be simple things like aliens landed in my backyard, or I think I saw a UFO or whatever. Now it's more into government, and they're basically out to get you. But somebody made a call to 911 in Vegas, and I'd like to play you the 911 call. This is from a year ago, but it was, hey, I want to know, how would the police react to this if they got this 911 call? All right, if you guys did. Here we go.
Beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big.
On this property. Now, before we show you that video, listen to their call for help.
There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
Okay, where is this on your property?
In my backyard. I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually we're terrified of it.
So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're like 8 foot, 9 feet, 10 foot. I don't know. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes. They have big eyes, like I can't explain it. And big mouth. They're shiny eyes, and they're not human. They're 100%. They're not human.
They're 100%. They're not human. Okay. So, Deputy Hurley, if you got that call, what do you do?
Well, you treat it like any other call. You would respond, see what you have, talk to the caller, see maybe what the caller has to say, start maybe asking some other questions along the lines of, do you know what today is? Who's the president? So we've gotten not to that detail, but we get calls all the time, right? People hear strange things in the middle of the night. We used to get the calls all the time for, there's something in my backyard. It sounds like a person, but I'm not quite sure. I don't know if it's an animal or a person, but something's yelling in my backyard.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going for, and you go to the area, you try to see what you can find out. Is it a sick animal, injured animal, a person?
Right.
Ultimately, you got to find whatever the issue is. But yeah, it's an interesting call to get.
Is there chatter on the radio back and forth between officers going to this call?
Not anymore, because it's all recorded.
Oh, God, they ruined everything. They ruined everything with this stuff.
No, it's all text messages now.
I'm teasing.
Back in the day, there would be some witty puns.
Now, here's in the rest of this news story, an officer saw something falling from the sky, and it was caught on his body cam footage, some kind of bluish purple thing, and then when they timed it up, that 911 call came in shortly after that, whatever that was believed to be falling from the sky. So the officer went out there, and he was very, very
personable.
Yeah. And I thought, I wonder if you sort of, as a police officer, feel relief that you're going to that call and not.
I say you're more on alert because you don't know what you're going into with that one.
Well, that's true. I guess. I don't know. They just and they were stopping and asking others, but that's the right answer. You treat every call as though it's something, and you don't want to make people feel completely crazy. But that's it. Yes.
Who's to say? Maybe there is something.
Well,
there's a lot of things that happen that are unexplained, but until I see something with my own eyes.
Yes, I know. I know. See it, touch it. Yeah, you're a realist, so to
Right.
speak. How are things with you? I hear the kids in the background, and we're interrupting your family time.
Yeah, we're just hanging out, watching in the Sabres home opener, hoping that they finally get a win so far this season, and just hanging out.
All right. Well, enjoy that, and thank you for taking our silly call.
Absolutely.
All right.
Have a good night.
You as well. There you go, Deputy Hurley. Treat every call like it's the real thing. Man, you know what? In a way, there is a piece of me that goes, I hope Jackson was going to be a dispatcher. I think this civil service test now, they used to be I thought they were just one. And
it covered everything.
Yeah. And it covered everything. I don't think it is anymore.
No, because I think there's a specific one for fire. I think
Yes.
there's one for cop.
You got it.
There's one for postal service.
And I think there's one for dispatcher. So I don't know. Like, I always thought dispatcher was somebody who sat at the police station kind of going, hey, we're getting a report of something at, the corner of 5th and Dewey and 5th or whatever. And then you send the police out there. So I don't know if he's that or if dispatcher is 911. I'm not sure what the term is covering, but he'd be great at it. He stays very calm and doesn't really let things affect him, and would go. And he's very, very rule oriented. So
that city job, he'll be out on Long Island before you know it. He'll be summered in the Hamptons, baby.
I think he likes it where he is. I think he likes it. He's always posting pictures of my view, and it's the ferry on the way to Manhattan or coming home from.
You'll have an educated brother, an educated sister, a wealthy son.
Yes.
An athletic son,
Yeah.
Jameson, and then there's you.
And then it'll be me. That's it. That's right. The giant
black
disappointment. Oh, the black sheep. You can't even get into some of the stuff. That's black sheep.
Well, yeah, I mean, you call your uncle on the podcast. Use him for the podcast.
Yes.
He has to check it on Facebook the next day.
Yes.
Saying, hey, we're safe.
Yes.
Didn't even call him.
Yes.
What a dick.
All right.
Use him and abuse him for your podcast, your little happy show. And he could be really hurting. Luckily, he's all right.
Here's how I know. I talked to my mother today, and I said, Uncle Eddie, her brother, was on the podcast. And she goes, well, they made it through practically. They never lost power. They never did. So I knew, and I meant to send him a text. I didn't. And I got to tell you, here's what's happening in my world. I've been scheduling my day. So I'll work on this. I'll work on this. I'll work on this. All these different projects. And then I have a list in front of me as well that I'm like, got to call, got to text. And he wasn't on the list. So he didn't get the text.
Your little passion project. You get used and abused, and you can't even check in on the guy.
Well, I can. Yes, oh God, yeah, that was bad. It was bad because, and I meant to check in on my.
He's probably been sitting there all day waiting for you, waiting. The Bill's going live on the podcast. I should let him know that I'm safe because he's a dick and didn't message me.
And even my college roommate's wife, who is alone in Tampa, because he's traveling until Thursday. And I sent her a text to try to get her on the podcast. Does you think I followed up?
Are you giving Uncle Eddie a pity call right now?
Yes, I am.
I hope he doesn't answer.
He won't. He won't answer.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Oh.
I'm getting some grief for not having followed up with you. We're on the podcast.
I don't know.
Uses and abuses just for his little show here, and then he doesn't even check in on you.
Hang on a
Unreal.
second. Hang on.
That's why Kevin's the favorite.
Hang on.
Yeah,
we made that fine.
I talked to your sister today, and I said,
which one? Which one?
My mother. And I said that I had Uncle Eddie on the podcast, and she said, "Oh, they made it through fine. They never lost power. So
why does your mother always sound like she's from Long Island?
Because she does a little bit. And but I did hear that the front and backyard got very flooded.
Yes, they did. But you know what? We got up this morning and the water was all gone.
Really?
Yeah, it just had dissipated up. I guess the wind blew it all away.
Well, that's what I'm wondering too.
You would have known this if you called him.
Yes. Thank you. So I was
going to get my shot back out of there and suck it all out, but it was too much. I told my grandkids to bring their fishing pole down.
Oh yeah, let them fish. They may catch a shark or a dolphin. Who knows? Something that came up there. I did see where your son, my cousin, had a bunch of buddies over. They were all sitting around. They called it a hurricane party, and everybody was holding up a beer. I was like, yeah, that looks like
that's exactly what you would do.
Yes, it is.
He's a party animal.
You'd be out there doing a video for the podcast. Throwing a beer. Screw you, Milton. Throwing the beer at it.
Somebody told me that
The only problem with Brian is Brian has no electric.
Oh,
but he's got beer. That's all you need.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
but the fridge. How you keeping it cold?
You got coolers.
Well, he's got a generator.
Oh,
and,
okay.
you know that he's trying to keep some things working and all.
Yeah.
What's
the estimated time for him then?
I don't know.
3 to 6
He's
weeks.
not sure.
Yeah, because that's the tough part.
They got to finish in North Carolina first. They're working their way south.
They may be. That may be.
Well, they live off the grid a little bit. They're a little bit further out, so it might be a while before they get theirs.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But his sister right around the corner has it, so figure that out.
Okay. So yeah. Well, I'm glad that everybody it went well, and 80 still even Orlando had 86-mile-an-hour winds. I was talking to somebody who's down there, and they were thinking of opening their hotel slider, and they're like, it was just crazy. They could feel the wind making the glass sort of bow because it was coming. Yeah, because it was coming in.
And it's back to 85 and sunny today.
Yeah, probably. And
Yeah. Well, it was in the mid 70s, about 79, and it was a little bit overcast, but for the most part, it was a nice day. Tomorrow's supposed to be beautiful.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it will be.
Sure.
Well, I'm glad everything went well and no real property damage. And I apologize for being a bit of a heel and not following up sooner.
And you can also admit that Kevin's now the favorite.
Kevin was always the favorite. He was always.
Yeah, he was. All right, guys.
See you later, Uncle Eddie.
All right. Bye-bye.
Right. There we go. All right. We'll close it out, Kevin. What
Shitter's full. Uncle Eddie.
Yeah, Uncle Eddie. That's right. For Kevin Muir, bringing it tonight with some great laughs. For the Mooch, who's a Mets fan. I swear he said something about the girl who used to be my girlfriend that I took, or she was. I don't know. Anyway.
That might have been Greg.
And for Greg Connors, who's rooting those Bills on no matter what, I'm Bill Moran. We'll see you Monday.